Hi, welcome to the channel today. Today I'm going to be talking about uppotting some plants and kind of what you need to do and not to do whenever you uppot your plants. First thing we're going to do is going to be with peppers. Now, with peppers, they're very sensitive. You do not want to mess with their roots. So these are the peppers we're going to be planting. They're the hot banana peppers. They're also called Hungarian wax. They're a fairly mild pepper, not real hot when they first turn yellow, and the longer you leave them on there, the hotter they get. Now, if you'll notice, the roots here are circling roots, but that's okay because this is a annual plant. It doesn't like its roots messed with, and we're just going to leave it just like that. I know a lot of people like to mess with the roots and all that. We're not going to do that. None of my tomato plants that was planted in the garden this year did I mess with the plants, even though some of them were circling, because, like I say, they're annual plants. They're just going to grow for 3 or 4 months. They're going to put some roots out, especially on a tomato plant. You don't need to mess with them because they're going to put roots up and down the stem. Now, pepper plants don't do this. These also have already been stunted somewhat because I left them in the deal too long, but that's all you do. You don't really have to mess with the roots. If you do that, you're going to shock them. And on a pepper plant, they don't like to be shocked. These over here were kind of the same way. They were root bound, but when we plant them in these buckets, I didn't, again, since they're annuals, I did not mess with them. They're going to go ahead and put their roots out. It's a fibrous root system. Now, if you really just don't like circling roots, you can get one of these pots like this, and you push it from the bottom. And if you'll look, there's no circling roots. All the roots are growing straight down. So that's what these pots like this tend to do. The other pot, let me show you over here. These tomatoes have been here for a long time. They would be severely root bound, right? But when you pull them up out of the pot, all those roots are going straight down. You don't see a single circling root. They'll come to here, hit that little groove and go straight down. So there's no reason to mess with this root ball, because once you plant this plant, it's going to go ahead and root out like that. So, you know, these trays like here, I really like them. These are the House Tool sells them. They're 162 trays that they sell. They also sell a tray that goes on the bottom of them, which is what I got these here sitting in. Now, if you go to a perennial plant, and this here is my strawberry guava. It's been blowing over. It did break a branch on it, so it needs to be repotted. So when I pull this up, and see when they did it, it started out to be a 4-inch guava plant, but that's okay. So let's pull this up out of here, because I've had this since the fall. Now, I was thinking it'd be more root bound than that, but that's another good point. When you look at this one, you see some roots, but none of them are circling roots. None of them are roots that are growing around. What's bad whenever you pull these things out? See if that's going to be deep enough. Nope. And you see some that's really badly circling, then you have a problem. But if they're like this, there's not a problem. There's not a reason to mess with those roots unless you have to. Now, if I did have roots like that and they were circling, what I would do, you take a pocket knife and just cut down about 1/4 inch, about 4 or 5 places around it. You'll cut those circling roots and they'll stop circling. Because it is really bad or can be bad for a perennial plant, because those roots just keep growing. And what can happen, you get a root that'll wrap around the main part of this trunk, and that root will start growing and it'll choke out the roots that's underneath it. So it is a problem. I guess still close, there might be some circling roots down there, but not anything I'm seeing is really bad. And we're going to just pile the dirt back around here. Probably go a little deeper than that, but it ain't going to hurt nothing not to. I'm gonna need more dirt. I got some over there. But anyway, that's kind of how you handle it. I'm gonna prop that up just a little bit. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, and we'll walk up over here, is I did plant my dwarf tomato plants in the kiddie pool. And now let me show you that. And if you remember, I put those in 7-gallon pots instead of the 10-gallon pots. So I got the smaller kiddie pool and put them in here. Just set the plants in there. I staked these up. I got a hole I drilled right down here, and I measured about 2 inches of water. And it goes in that hole right there. So anytime it rains, we had rain last night, so everything ran out once it filled up. Now, I only had room for 4, and that's okay. And I also use these little clips here that you get on Amazon, tomato clips, and that helps keep the plants upright. Those are really handy, keeps your hand to tie stuff off. They only last about a year, so I don't think you can get 2 or 3 years out of them. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I am going to be doing, next couple of days, I'll do another video. I'm going to do some more corn in another kiddie pool that's going to be the sweet corn. So that way I can grow sweet corn in a kiddie pool this size using these size bags. And I'll also have the other corn that I grew from the last video. It's already about this tall, so it should make before this starts pollinating. So I'll be all right. Main thing, it will pollinate before these start receiving the pollen, because that's what would screw me up. The other is a dent corn, and this here is going to be a sweet corn, and you don't want your dent corn fertilizing your sweet corn, because it'll mess up your sweet corn. But anyway, that's the video for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.